Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a ranty video, but with good reason, in my opinion. I went to see The Strokes headline All Points East Festival in East London earlier this week, and aside from the absolutely horrendous sound quality, I'm looking at you, All Points East organisers. Sort it out. Absolutely unacceptable, given the festival takes place annually. You'd have thought they'd have figured it out by now. Anyways, I could not believe what I was seeing in the audience. People talking to each other, not just in between songs, but during songs. People saying straight up disrespectful things about the artist. If you don't want to watch them, then do one. You don't have to be there if you don't want to be. People being aggressive, pushing, shoving, in some cases topless, fully grown men starting fights in the crowd, literally behaving like animals, and being incredibly disrespectful to both the performer and other audience members, who have all paid good money to attend this gig. Now, it's not the first time that I've experienced this kind of behaviour at a gig. I saw the same thing during Arctic Monkeys' headline Glastonbury set. Link up here to a video on that if you fancy checking that out after you watch this one. And a lot of this kind of behaviour seems to have started happening at gigs. Or certainly it seems to have gotten worse after the pandemic. Many people online have actually said the same thing. And it kind of got me thinking, have people forgotten how to do concerts? Has gig etiquette gone out the window? Let's discuss. So it turns out it's not just a few of us that have this opinion. The Guardian published a story recently stating that music industry experts now think that bad behaviour at concerts has become the new norm. I mean, I can think of countless incidents recently, just off the top of my head, where musicians have been hit by items that have been thrown by members of the audience. For example, Harry Styles was hit in the eye with a sweet while he was performing in Vienna, Australia, earlier this year. Austria, not to be confused with Australia. Somebody threw their mother's ashes on stage at a Pink concert in London. If that isn't a cry for attention, then I don't know what is. Christ, that's the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a Sacha Baron Cohen sketch. Never in real life. Singer-songwriter Bebe Betcher, I think I'm pronouncing that right, needed stitches and had to leave the stage after a fan threw a mobile phone at her face during a gig in NYC. Yet another audience member wanting their moment in the limelight, I'm guessing. I'm glad that some artists have actually been pretty vocal and spoken out about these incidents. Last month, during her Las Vegas residency, Adele told the audience, "Have you noticed how people are forgetting show etiquette at the moment? People just throwing shit on stage. Have you seen them? Dare you throw something at me and I'll kill you." But it's not just the safety of the artist in question here. It really does seem like the safety of the audience is also not guaranteed at concerts anymore. Not that long ago, in December of last year, the famous O2 Academy Brixton here in London was forced to close its doors, losing its licence as a result of hundreds of people without tickets forcing their way into the venue. A crowd surge from outside the venue saw several audience members feeling crushed and suffocated. 2 people actually lost their lives, and the event was blamed on a lack of security, along with bad behaviour from several fans pushing and shoving their way into the venue. In a similar nature, a crowd surge at Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival in 2021 led to the death of 10 people. Clearly, a lack of respect for the rules set out by the venues and security staff has people genuinely concerned about their safety at concerts. Now, I feel like back in the day, Christ, I'm really going to sound like a boomer here, aren't I? Back in my day, people had respect for performing artists. I do genuinely think there is some truth to this though. Certainly before the pandemic, there was just a different vibe at concerts. People generally had more respect for the performing artist. There was a sense of decorum there. There was certainly an understanding amongst the audience that everybody's paid good money to see this band or artist, and although we may not know every single song, we would be respectful of said band or artist if they decided to play a new number. Everybody would listen carefully, be open-minded and pay attention, because there was an understanding that the whole point of going to see a concert was not just to hear your favourite songs being played back to you. It was also a chance to discover something new, a chance to hear the deeper, less well-known cuts from an artist's back catalogue, and hear something new or different or interesting live, something that wouldn't appear in the curated Spotify playlist that you subscribe to. And back then, that was very much something to be celebrated. People also seem to have more respect for one another. If somebody fell down in a mosh pit or got injured, that person will be helped and picked up. There was a general sense of people looking after each other, sense of community. There was also a sense of respect for the artist that you were paying money to go and see. Seldom would there be items thrown on stage directly at the artist, and when they would, they'd be in good jest, never to injure or humiliate. Generally speaking, of course. Things like bras or written messages on pieces of cardboard, that kind of thing. These days, however, there is an increasing number of reports of bad behaviour at gigs. Objects being thrown that have actually harmed or injured that artist. I just don't get it. Why pay money out of your own pocket to go to a gig and then try and injure or harm the artist that you've paid money to go and see? Absolutely baffles the mind. What is the world coming to? So why has gig etiquette seemingly gone out of the window? Why has behaviour at shows gotten so bad? Well, The Guardian thinks that the rise in incidents might be due to social media, with fans trying to become part of the show, essentially, wanting to post videos of stunts that could potentially go viral. Another theory is that people's attitudes might have changed since the COVID-19 pandemic. We were deprived of a physical presence at concerts for so long that we're somehow now releasing all of that cooped up energy in the form of misbehaviour at concerts. Not so sure about that one, to be honest. Rolling Stone have said a similar thing in their article on this, stating that main character syndrome could be a factor. After all, we are in an attention-based economy these days, chasing clout and all that. The Week publication have suggested that those who act out believe that they're entitled to do so, and there's that sense of I should be able to do what I want because I've paid good money to be here, which I find absolutely ridiculous if people actually think that way. There's definitely also something about people attending concerts just so that they can tell everybody that they've been, to post it on Instagram and flex or whatever it is they do. There are just so many cases online of concert goers reporting that other audience members have just ruin the concert for them by talking, just killing the vibe by talking through songs and ruining it for everybody else. For me personally, it happened at Arctic Monkeys at Glastonbury Festival. It happened again with the Strokes at All Points East. It's now happened at Maggie Rogers. It's happening everywhere. So, a bit concerning, isn't it? Do let me know in the comments below if you've recently been to a concert and experienced a similar thing with bad behaviour. For me, it's downright baffling and just really disappointing. I really hope it doesn't continue this way, because if it does, you could probably put your money on concert organisers increasing that gap between the stage and the audience, which would just make the whole experience a lot less immersive, in my opinion. The gap is already too big, I think. I mean, you'd also think the price of a pint would be an effective deterrent from that kind of behaviour right now as well, but it doesn't seem to be working. Let's hope we're not all wearing VR headsets and attending virtual concerts at some point in the next few years. I mean, it's definitely a possibility with the way that these things are going. Do hit that like button to show your support. A subscribe to the channel will be hugely appreciated. And whilst we're on the topic of VR gigs and all that techie stuff, if you are wondering what to watch next, then you may be interested in learning about the top 10 indie rock album written by AI that nobody knows about. Link to that video appearing on screen round about now. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.